Disclaimer. Due to the recording backlog, the content disclosed in this podcast may be dated. Thoughts and opinions stated are that of the speaker and not that of Transylvania University or the Rambler. Viewer discretion is advised. The content may not be appropriate for all audiences. If you are a listener, please enjoy. And if you're Dave, you owe me $5.
President Brien Lewis.
Mr. Will Johnson.
It's about time.
It is about time.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Jumping right into it here. You said that when I asked if you wanted to be on the podcast, you said that you had 3 subjects or ideas of what you wanted to talk about. And I want to hear all 3 of those subjects and or ideas.
Okay. So and you can choose between the 3 or we can cram in all 3. However you want to go about it.
Okay.
Favorite movies, because I'm a big movie buff.
Yeah.
New Zealand and Ireland.
Okay.
Because these are my pipe dream countries that I want to retire to.
Okay.
And Bruce Springsteen.
All right. I think we got to start with Bruce Springsteen because that is such like a Brian. If there was a Brian, idea. If there was a Brien Lewis Jeopardy, which should happen, we should make that a thing.
That could be.
That's
fun.
got to be like that has to be if this trivia question isn't on there.
Mm-hmm.
And the trivia question that I don't know if I know the answer to, is how many Bruce Springsteen concerts have you been to?
26.
I thought it was 27. See, and I want
You're in the right.
So what is 26? I don't think I answered the question. But.
Yes.
So
26.
That's a lot for one artist.
Yeah, but I know people who've seen him that many times on a single tour. So I'm a relative, amateur compared to some real Bruce tramps who will go across the world to see him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've seen him in a lot of places, and I have been elbows on the stage, and I have been in literally the last row of the upper deck and had a magnificent time every time. It's like, what's my happy place? It's being at a Bruce concert.
So what is it about Bruce Springsteen? Like, is it the lyrics or is it just the songs in general? Is it like the overall atmosphere?
It's everything. It's that the lyrics are insightful and powerful. It's that the music will just make you want to move or make you stop and think. I mean, just the emotions that come through the music. It's his ability as a performer. He is just simply the most electric live performer that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So you roll all those things together, and it's like, okay, not to be missed.
Yeah, and I think there is something in saying the difference between a good musician and a good performer.
Yes.
Because if you go to a concert for, now I'm blanking, like Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
A Michael Jackson concert is going to be very different from a Coulter Wall. Are you familiar with Coulter Wall?
I'm not.
Oh,
I need to
Coulter
add him to
Wall.
my listen list. Okay. But you're right. There's a difference. I mean, and he's a great band leader. He is a great writer. He's a great performer. And no 2 shows are the same. And
right.
You literally don't know. I went to a show 20-something years ago where he comes out and he starts strumming, and you can see the band looking at each other already. And he says, "Band doesn't know I'm going to play this one. Key of B, boys, watch me." And he launches into Chuck Berry's Little Queenie. I looked it up later. They had not played that song in 24 years. And they nailed it. I mean, best little bar band in all the land. They nailed it. But he has even taken in recent tours to collecting request signs. He'll have the drummer start a riff for a couple minutes, and he'll go around, collect request signs, and he'll say, "Okay, let's see if we can stump the band." And again, they nail it. It's so much fun. It's totally unpredictable and just great energy. And the man's 75 years old, and he puts on a 3-hour-plus show, no intermission. One thing he has stopped doing on his most recent tour is, 5 years ago, he would go to a little mini stage in the middle of the arena. He still does that. But then he would dive backwards off of the mini stage onto the top of the crowd.
May not be the best idea to do that anymore.
Then he'd body surf all the way back to the stage. And I'm sure his insurance people are going, But he's a phenomenal performer and just seems to be an incredibly decent human being. Someone who's been very open about his own struggles with depression and mental health issues and so on, but who, finds a way to pick himself back up and get back on the horse and keep doing what he does at an exceptional level. So he's just, I find him to be a very admirable person. You never read about him going on some drug-fueled binge and trashing a hotel room. It's like, okay, if I was going to be a rock star, and believe me, there's no danger of that ever happening, but if I was going to be a rock star, I'd
pay to see that.
I'd want to do it the way he has done it.
What would your rock star name be?
Oh, I'd keep my same name.
Brien Lewis. That's a very stage name, I feel like.
Well, it's the origin is, because my name is spelled a little unusually, it's Brien. My mother's maiden name was O'Brien, and they just chopped the O off. And I'm actually very grateful for my name, because without it, I wouldn't exist. There was the way that my parents met. This is obviously many moons ago. They were both in college, they were at the same college, but they hadn't met each other. And there was a St. Patrick's Day dance. And my father wanted to go, but he didn't have a date. So he went through the student directory looking for the most Irish name he could find. And Janet O'Brien was about as Irish as it got. And he just cold called her, and that's how they met. So without that name, I ain't here, literally. So
what? That's incredible.
Yep. So true story.
And then you went back in time with Doc, and then tried to
No, there was no
they
Marty
meet each other,
McFly.
and then your picture started disappearing. I remember this one.
No Marty McFly moments. At least not yet.
No. So you mentioned Bruce Springsteen doing what he loved till he died. I'm trying to come up. I'm not the best with transitions, but you mentioned another point of New Zealand or Ireland.
New Zealand
So
and
then,
Ireland. Yeah.
When the sun sets, I guess, and you've, finished your. Well, I guess I'll ask you this first. You are the president of Transylvania University. That's not a small task. That's not a small name. But I'm sure you've worked very hard for this. You've deserved to be in the position you are. What do you see yourself ever stepping away from that and then pursuing something, smaller, or are you pretty much locked in and then whenever you can't work anymore and then you're gonna book a trip to fly?
Well, I don't know when retirement will be. I've known presidents who have worked well into their 70s and 80s even. I knew an 84-year-old president who I couldn't keep up with him as he was crossing his campus. Just amazing. I don't know if that'll be me. But when it comes time to hang up the spurs, my pipe dream, whether it will be realistic or not, I have no idea. But my pipe dream would be to spend 6 months of the year in New Zealand and 6 months in Ireland and just keep going back and forth, because the seasons are opposite, because they're on the opposite sides of the world, literally. And although I love Ireland, you really don't want to be there in January and February. It's, very little daylight, cold, wet. I'm not one of these hang out on the beach kind of people, but, nice weather like we've been having here the last few days. That's sort of the nice spot, and that's sort of New Zealand and Ireland, and they're just spectacularly beautiful, and the people are so kind and warm, and I just feel a real affinity for the places and feel very comfortable there. So
I despise Kentucky weather.
Well, it's the 12 seasons of Kentucky.
Oh my gosh, we're wearing shorts one day, and then we come back, and it's gonna hail. I don't know. Emily's over. I've trapped Emily here. She's been here since 9 this morning. But
soul.
she said, imagine this in Illinois. No, I lived in Tennessee for a while, and even in Tennessee, the weather was, pretty consistent. But Kentucky, it's just, and you think being neighboring states, but no, it's all over the place. But I don't know. Why New Zealand or Ireland specifically? I'm assuming you've traveled to other countries.
Yep.
Are you a big traveler?
I love traveling. There's still much I want to do, many places I want to go. I have not been to Africa or the Middle East. Lots of Asia I have not gotten to. I've been to Thailand and Malaysia and Singapore, but I haven't gotten to China and Japan and the Philippines. So yeah, lots of places still to go. But Ireland and New Zealand are both places that it'll sound kitschy or corny or whatever, but they just call to me. You know, it's like when I'm there, I just feel my blood pressure drop a few points, and I just there's something about the landscape. There's something about the pace of life. There's something about the warmth and the sense of humor and the, no, I don't know you, but I will totally take you in as a friend, as if we've known each other for 20 years kind of thing. It's instantaneous. And it's just a wonderful pair of places. And I just can't get enough of them.
Yeah, that's awesome. I will say, like, the community we have on Trancy's campus is incredible. Like, as a college that is so small, it's so small, but I love that because the extrovert that I am, I like being able to see everybody and then seeing like, oh, look, it's so-and-so.
Well, I warn prospective students. I say, look, this campus is so compact, which I think is a great benefit, that you can get across it in 10 minutes. I say, but after you've been here as a student for a couple of weeks, it is going to take you half an hour. Because everybody knows everybody, and they're going to be stopping you and saying, "Hey, come out to our production or our game or our club event or whatever." And that's a great part of the feeling. In fact, I do find that the Transylvania community is very much like the sense of community I get in small places in Ireland and New Zealand. So no wonder I feel at home here.
Yeah, and it is even like Transylvania. We're right in the smack dab heart of Lexington. So I mean, we've got, you take a right turn and you're in downtown Lexington, and I think that's so, like, it's so neat because I know at a bigger school you don't get that because it is like college feels like its own world, but Lexington is, I mean, it's just, I think it is because it is an older school too, but like the community has kind of evolved around our campus.
Yes,
I think it's a really unique experience.
I think it's kind of a best of both worlds because we do retain, to your point, that small intimate community feel on the campus. But everything about Lexington is so accessible. It's literally on our doorstep. Most places that look and feel like Transylvania are in a much more remote location. So they can't offer those experiences that you can do, whether it's a cultural event or internship or shadowing opportunity that you can do and then still be back on campus in time for that next activity.
Right.
So that's a real built-in advantage that I think is sort of part of our secret sauce as to why students here are so well prepared for their next step, because they've gotten both of those opportunities.
Yeah. And I will say, because it is such a small campus and because so many people do so much on campus, everybody's so involved, it feels like. I'm doing stuff that I never knew I wanted to do, or am discovering that I enjoy stuff. I'm going to a lacrosse game this weekend. I don't know what lacrosse is. Is that it's like Quidditch, but you don't fly. So I don't know. I probably disrespected everybody on lacrosse, but
lacrosse is an incredibly skilled game. I have never done it at a competitive level. Like in high school gym, we were being taught lacrosse skills, and how they are able to accurately catch, throw, and shoot with that lacrosse stick and net it boggles my mind. So I'm so impressed with what our student athletes can do on the lacrosse field, because that is an amazingly challenging sport.
Yeah. But it's interesting because Charlotte Green, who is amazing, can't say enough good things about Charlotte. She's on the lacrosse team, but I know her from the swim team. So she was like, come support this lacrosse game. So I was like, okay, so we'll see. But also, like, during first engagements, which I love, by the way, I applied to be an orientation leader. So
excellent.
Fingers crossed.
You will have a great time doing that.
But during that time, I met some of, like, the eventing girls, and I was like, I don't know. I know I'm, like, from Kentucky, but I've been in Tennessee for forever. I don't know what a horse is. And so then they were like, oh, like, come to the Kentucky Horse Park sometime. So I did, like, that last weekend, and it was a blast. I got there late, but that's okay because I didn't know where I was. But I got to, like, pet the horses, and then shout out to all of the eventing team because they're just incredible people. But I discovered, like, oh, yeah, this is Kentucky. Horses are a thing. And
yeah, and I have to keep my distance because unfortunately I am allergic to horses.
You're allergic to horses, but you're the
Yes.
president of a university in Kentucky. How about that?
It was so funny when I told friends and family that I was coming here. They kind of laughed at me, not disrespecting Transylvania or Kentucky at all, but they said, "Look, you don't drink, and you're allergic to horses.
So you like
what
basketball?
What are you going to do there?"
Do you
I
like
said,
Kentucky basketball?
I love basketball.
Okay, then we got that
Yeah,
going for us.
Yeah, but I said, I think there's more to the place than bourbon and thoroughbreds, and there very much is.
We also have bluegrass. And there's the 3 B's of Kentucky: basketball, bluegrass, and bourbon.
So basketball, I have really enjoyed here. Obviously, our women's basketball team has had phenomenal success. Our men's basketball team continues to have very successful seasons, and they're a lot of fun to watch. And it's just always fun to come out and support students, whether it's on athletic activities or performing arts or whatever.
Right.
And that's part of the real joy of being at a small place is that. As somebody once put it to me, you're not cheering for a piece of laundry. You know the young women and the young men who are competing or performing, right. And so it's as much go Will as it is go Transylvania, and that's very rewarding.
And everybody's supporting each other because we're all one family. There you go. Quote that. Put that on your next shirt. I want to talk about your other point, because that was a good conversation, but I want to talk about movies.
Favorite movies. Oh, I could
go
on.
What is a favorite movie of the Brien Lewis?
My number one all time would be Lawrence of Arabia.
Never seen it.
Oh, okay.
I'll put it on my watch list.
But it's one of those movies you really have to see in a theater on a big screen, biggest screen you can get.
I have a question.
Yes.
The Kentucky Theater.
Yes.
Can you request stuff? Or can you rent it, or how does this happen?
I believe you can rent it. In fact, we were able to arrange to have the national championship game when the women's basketball team won. That there was a watch party in the Kentucky Theater.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it was. I was at the game, but there was a great turnout at the theater and a lot of excitement. So I believe you can rent it, and I think they take requests. Whether they can meet them always, I don't know. But they have their Summer Classics series, which is a lot of fun. Great to see some of those old movies on a big screen. But yeah, I'd even say if you can find an IMAX screen showing of Lawrence of Arabia, because it's an amazing film on so many levels. It's epic. The photography is amazing, and you realize, okay, this was made in 1962. Everything that you're seeing was actually in front of the camera. There was no CGI. So when there are thousands of horses and riders and camels charging across the desert, that they were really doing that in 120-degree temperatures and so on. But it's not just a spectacular epic. It's also an incredibly literate film, incredibly well written. The main character, T.E. Lawrence, is a historic figure, and it's not entirely historically accurate. They take some dramatic license, but a fascinating, complex character, and Peter O'Toole just delivers a spellbinding performance. So it's a film that just works on every level and bears multiple watchings to appreciate the editing, the construction of it, the emotional impact of some of the sequences. So that's my number one. But my top 10 list would probably have about 50 movies on it because there are just so many wonderful films over the years.
So let me ask you this, I guess. Art and I guess any sort of media is definitely dependent upon emotion and sort of timing as well. So if you are you saying any time of day, any place, anytime, anywhere, that is still your number one?
Let me put it this way. It's the best movie I've ever seen. There are other movies that I have a more emotional reaction to. One of my children's favorite Christmas pastimes is watching me watch It's a Wonderful Life, because I am just a big, soggy mess. And I keep thinking that I will grow out of it at some point, and no, this gets worse. A few years ago, it was showing in a theater, and I said, "Oh, we've got to go see it," because in the theater, I've only ever seen it on TV.
Yeah.
And the kids are like, no, you're gonna totally embarrass us. And I was like, no, it'll be in a public place. It'll be fine. I'll need to control myself. It'll be fine. So we go, and yeah, worse than ever. I mean, not just, tears down the, I mean, heaving sobs, shoulders, and the guy in the row behind us leaned over at one point and he patted me on the shoulder and he said,
Tune into About Time every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The Anything and Everything podcast, but when 20 minutes is up, that's it. Thank you so much for spending 20 minutes of your time into 20 minutes of ours. Have a wonderful day, learn something new, follow the golden rule, and use your time wisely.